Good evening, everyone. Uh, Once again, Saurabh here, and today we're going to go ahead with our further sessions. Just to brief you that a few of you have been asking about the PowerPoint presentations, which I generally play. So I'll send a few PowerPoint presentations. Now, there are a few presentations which I am using it from my personal book. This is my own written book, but I need to have a little permission from my publisher as well before I share the content, because the content which I generally use, it's a it's from my book only, but then it's a published content. So so give me a little while, I'll share that out also. In the meanwhile, in case somebody wants to check out uh, my book, which is available online, it's available also on nearby your stores also. You can just get that. Okay, so don't worry. I'll try to send some content. So rest assured on that. The name of the book is Business Intelligence and Artificial Intelligence. You can find that on my site, like saurabhbakharia.in. Over there in the book section, publication section, you will see the entire list. So the book is Business Intelligence, which I'm using currently to explain you the topics. So everything's from there. So you can get that book. Currently, lockdown is there, so maybe it will be difficult for you to get. But definitely after that, it will be quick and easier for you to get the book. All right. So today we are going to go further uh, on understanding decision support system. But to before I jump directly to DSS, uh, I want to give you a small little introduction on business intelligence so that understanding DSS becomes more interesting because DSS is a part of business intelligence. Okay, so before I start, let me do a small check. So is my voice audible to everyone, loud and clear? All right. Can you see my screen? Yes. No. My screen I've shared. Yes, screen is also visible. Thank you. All right. So I think we'll go further ahead. Uh, so trying to understand business intelligence, we've already understood AI till now, and now BI. Uh, like I always tell my students, A के बाद जैसे D आता है, उसी तरीके से हम AI के बाद BI सीख रहे हैं. Yes. There is some noise. Somebody trying to talk to me. No. Okay. All right. Uh, so what is BI? Let me give you a small little brief. Understanding BI. Now, by the definition, if we go, what I am also presenting here on the screen. So, BI is all about delivering the reliable, relevant information to the right people at the right time to achieve a particular goal and have the decision happen faster. It's a collection where it retrieves a data and processes the data and with the help of certain mathematical models and gives you a better understanding and gives you better understanding of a data, so which can drive an extra thrust to your business. Okay, so I'm just trying to give you an informal idea. Formally, the processes, technologies, and tools needed to turn the data into information and information to knowledge and knowledge into plans that derive profitable business actions. So BI encompasses all, like the data warehouse to business analytics to knowledge management, and the core is about decision making, um, and where we will be learning about decision support system will come into the picture. Okay, so moving further. Now, this is a definition of BI, which you can always get it online whenever you can Google the definition. This is nothing. Uh, okay, so it can be defined as a mathematical model and analysis methodology that exploits the available data to generate information and knowledge useful for the complex decision-making process. With the definition, we it makes us very clear that it's going to help us in making decisions. It's going to help us in making our business grow faster and better. So we need some external assistance. So BI is that external assistance which is going to be useful for our business. Definitely, there are certain tools, there are certain mechanisms, and this is totally powered by AI. That's what our entire program is all about. BI, which is powered by AI. Okay, so our entire program is focusing on the same. So we've seen the power of AI. Now, where it is implemented and how the output comes, so that's where the BI part comes into the picture. So it's an umbrella term that combines architecture, tools, database, analytical tools, applications, methodologies, decision making, everything. Okay, so moving further. Now, BI helps us in taking, decisions. Now we know the importance of decision. Okay, a decision should be effective and it should be timely. Two major or important parts of decision making are it should be an effective decision and it should be a timely decision. मतलब सही होना चाहिए. सही की तो कोई डेफिनेशन नहीं है, लेकिन शायद उससे कुछ आउटकम अच्छा आ जाना चाहिए. हमारा हमारा जो पर्पस है वो सॉल्व हो जाना चाहिए. तो हम उससे बोलेंगे कि दैट इज एन इफेक्टिव डिसीजन. आउटपुट जो जैसा मुझे डिजायर्ड था, तो वो आया. दूसरा टाइमली, मतलब आपका डिसीजन अगर थोड़ा लेट है तो शायद से इफेक्ट लेट होगा या नहीं भी होगा, तो उसका कोई काम नहीं है. तो इट्स सिंपल. यू आर हंग्री नाउ, you need food right now. You cannot say, okay, I'm hungry now, but after 2 weeks I'll eat. Well, that doesn't go. So the main purpose of BI or BI systems is to provide the knowledge workers with tools and methodologies that allows them to make effective and timely decisions. Audience. We've learned a few algorithms yesterday. Okay, I tried my level to give you a little idea on the a certain set of algorithms, and these are mathematical models. Now, a mathematical model, what it is, we need to understand that. So, in a nutshell, I'm trying to explain you what is a mathematical model. So, it is an interpretation of the real situation or a real world. So, what the real world is, we try to create our own model based on that, and definitely mathematics is the support system which helps us create those models. Now, having widespread applications in branches of science, engineering, technology, biology, medicine, etc., the primary objective is to enhance the effectiveness of the decision making process. So, the entire primary focus of these mathematical models is to ensure that decision making is effective. Okay, so we'll be discussing more on the mathematical models further. All right. Now, when you're deriving a mathematical model, how it works. that has been comprised here in a small little diagram which is there. Uh, Start from finding a real world problem, because when you are driving your own mathematical model, it is not going to be something which is standard. ऐसा नहीं है कि एक मॉडल पड़ा है उठाया डायरेक्टली इम्प्लीमेंट कर दिया. जैसे एक एग्जांपल दूं, yesterday we learnt about couple of algorithms, and um, it's not that you will directly just implement them as it is. There's always a lot of tweak. Those algorithms and those models, these are there. They're giving you a direction. आपको बताया जाता है एक स्टैंडर्ड प्रोसीजर कि इस तरीके से करोगे तो आउटकम आ सकता है. एक तरीका है. You can use multiple such ways. You can use a conglomeration of couple of models. आप एक से दूसरा तीसरा चौथा सब मिला सकते हैं. Like for example, Bayes model. Okay, Thomas Bay has developed a prediction model, and in this prediction model we can predict a little bit. तो जरूरी नहीं है कि उसको as it is implement करना है, because they himself said it is a naive model. So you probably can use such models, have your own inputs to it according to the situation, and then you can make it run. So that is the reason primary task before you even implement a model is to understand the real world problem. जनरली हमें एक नोशन है, एक बहुत गलत फहमी है, बहुत बड़ी गलत फहमी है कि एआई और बीआई हमारी ऑफिस में लगा दो, जादू हो जाएगा. मतलब आई गेट सच रिक्वेस्ट व्हेन आई डील इन द रियल वर्ल्ड. मुझे भी कुछ ऐसी रिक्वेस्ट आती है, एंड दे से कि सर एआई से कर लो ना काम. I'll just share you one example of my own client. Okay, I don't want to take the name. He's a big man, but was a little foolish. Uh, the demand was like, since you do AI, why can't you do some AI and get our business from like 360 up? Like his demand was simple, very simple demand. He's like, मेरा business जो है कुछ तकरीबन 50 लाख तक होता है. अगर आप कुछ एआई लगा दो और मेरे बिजनेस को 50 लाख से, हिज टारगेट व्हाट ही केप्ट दैट टाइम वाज 14 करोड़. तो 3 महीने हैं आपके पास, 3 महीने में 14 करोड़ तक टच करवा दो. वेल गाइस, दिस इज लाइक नॉट पॉसिबल. ऐसा नहीं होता कि एआई कोई जादू की छड़ी नहीं है. तो आपको भी ये समझना है कि एआई और बीआई ये कोई जादू की छड़ी नहीं है, ओ लगा दिया और हो गया. I got one another request. I'm a social media guy, so somebody said, कि I want to flood my social media, and I'm ready to pay you whatever, but all I want is I want conversions on my product on social media. He wanted some 100 inquiries per day, and then he mentions, कि why don't you implement some AI and get it happen? Okay, again, so the answer is very difficult. See, आपको भी ऐसा लगेगा अभी कि एआई और बीआई से क्या हम ऐसा कर ले, हमारा बिजनेस बढ़ जाएगा, सब कुछ हो जाएगा. It's not that directly possible. See, these are support systems. इससे फ्लेवर आएगा, चीजें अच्छी होंगी, तो you'll get some benefit, but it's gonna be a gradual change. चीजें बदलेंगी, बदलाव आएगा, ऑफ कोर्स आउटपुट अच्छा होगा, बट कोई जादू की छड़ी नहीं है. So why am I telling you this? Because most of people who are connected to me right now in a lecture are practicing chartered accountants, are into some kind of business. It's an advice कि कल को अगर आपको कोई बुद्धू बनाने आए, कोई बोल दे कि सर हम एआई बेस्ड जादू लगाएंगे और आपका बिजनेस रॉकेट, तो थैंक यू बोल देना और कुछ मत कहना, क्योंकि that's the true fact. Anyway, so just a small little piece of advice. Now, how these mathematical models work, it's there in front of you. I'll quickly just go through the steps, won't take much. Finding a real world problem, formulate a mathematical model of the problem, and identifying the variables and establishing the hypothesis. Most important part. A data scientist, for that matter, will always create his own set of hypotheses. What will happen if I use this algorithm? Okay, uh, so then after that, apply the mathematical knowledge that you have to reach mathematical conclusions, because it's a number game. It works on certain set of rules. So you need to have some mathematical knowledge to be applied and get some facts, get your facts clear. Compare the data obtained as the prediction with the real data. So once your model is defined, once your ideation is done, try to compare it with the real world, because it might not be always true as it looks like. And so that's the reason comparison is there. Even Thomas Bay in 1950 he said, like, the model which he developed and people which they're using today, he said it's a naive model. So if such a big scientist can say, and we need to understand and believe that the models, the mathematical models, the outcomes which come, they're not correct. You look at the current scenario. A lot of people using AI, they gave their uh, idea about COVID-19, and they said, the statistics are इतना फैल जाएगा, उतना फैल जाएगा. But नहीं हुआ, वैसा नहीं हुआ. Okay, the statisticians calculated something else. सबके अपने अपने numbers थे. But then it didn't happen. It's not happening that way. Sare statistics or sare mathematics, they're not really true. So if you've been reading these days, you'll come to know what I'm talking about. Compare the data obtained as predictions with the real data. If the data are different, the process is restarted. Simple. Keep doing this in loop unless you find the best solution. That's what happens. All right. Uh, Fine. There are certain set of advantages of these mathematical models, and I think I'll come to these later. I shouldn't be speaking about them now. Now I think I should be coming to another part. All right, ETL. This is another part which I should be talking about before we jump to decision making. Okay. No, I hope this is clear. All right, somebody has written something. Yeah, similar to our FM package today. FM package. Oh, I didn't get this. Uh, I'm sorry. I'm naive. Oh, finance minister. Okay. Okay. Sorry. Sorry. For me, to understand this, sometimes becomes difficult. That's very bad. Okay. Then there is some new AI tool to predict COVID-19 without testing. Okay. There are tools. Good. But again, how much you understand? Uh, sorry, he is unable to connect. I think किसी को कुछ connect होने में problem आ रही है with the session. Anyway, now it's there in front of the screen. What I'm going to talk about is ETL process. Now, ETL is a deriving fuel for our decision making. So that's like data extraction, transformation, and loading. Okay. Before the fuel is pumped to the mathematical models, the fuel need to come from somewhere, and that's our data, which we are going to use for decision making. Now the data passes through the three set of processes. The first one is extraction, second is transformation, and third is loading. The screen is showing advanced mathematical models. Mm, okay, thank you for bringing me up. Uh, is it correct? ETL. All right, all right. So what happens in this process? The process looks very small, but this process has much more depth into it. Now, data is extracted from several sources, like these are primary and secondary sources. A lot of primary and secondary sources are feeding the data. Okay, it could be direct or indirect. Instead of calling it primary or secondary, to make it more simpler, आपको डायरेक्टली डेटा मिल जाएगा सीधा सीधा या कुछ इनडायरेक्टली मिलेगा कहीं कोई अलग तरीके से extraction when data extraction is happening. Data comes in different forms. आपको सीधा सीधा नहीं मिलेगा अलग अलग फॉर्म्स में मिलेगा जैसे शायद से किसी ने वॉइस आउटपुट में दे दिया डेटा या किसी ने लिख के दे दिया या किसी ने टेक्स्ट डॉक्यूमेंट दे दिया किसी ने वर्ड डॉक्यूमेंट दे दिया किसी ने मल्टीमीडिया दे दिया डेटा इज डेटा अलग अलग टाइप में आ रहा है एक एग्जांपल ले लो न्यूज एजेंसी है न्यूज एजेंसी ईटीएल प्रोसेस कर रही है ठीक है अब न्यूज एजेंसी को जो डेटा मिल रहा है शायद उसका किसी ने एक फिल्म रिकॉर्ड करके मल्टीमीडिया वाला डेटा दे दिया ठीक है उसके अंदर कुछ हो रहा है किसी ने पावर पॉइंट प्रेजेंटेशन भेज दी किसी ने शायद टेक्स्ट में लिख दिया एसएमएस कर दिया कि ये न्यूज है आज की किसी ने एक वॉइस मेल छोड़ दिया कि ओके ऐसा ऐसा है अब ये अलग अलग है तो न्यूज ना तो न्यूज एजेंसी आपको क्या जो जैसे है वैसे ही दिखाते हैं नहीं अगर मल्टीमीडिया है तो उसको वो देखेंगे अंडरस्टैंड करेंगे उसमें से एक्सट्रैक्ट करेंगे न्यूज मीडिया को तो उसको समझ के उसका तर्क समझ के अंडरस्टैंड करके और फिर they'll be doing their set of processes so that's like collecting the data पहला तो उन्होंने काम कर लिया कलेक्ट कर लिया अब उसके बाद क्या करेंगे ये लोग उसको एक पर्टिकुलर प्रोसेस में डालेंगे तो प्रोसेस में डालने के लिए what they need to do they need to transform the data into one unique format अगर मान लो ये प्रिंट मीडिया न्यूज है जैसे कह लो कि कोई एक न्यूज़पेपर है जो आपके घर पे आता है ठीक है और ये प्रिंट मीडिया है लिख के छपा हुआ आता है इसके अंदर तो अगर कोई मल्टीमीडिया क्लिप वायरल हुई है तो उस क्लिप को उसका अनुवाद किया जाए उसको लिखा जाएगा न्यूज के फॉर्म में क्योंकि उनका ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन एक ही है टेक्स्ट क्योंकि ये न्यूज़पेपर है न्यूज़पेपर आपके जो घर पे प्रिंट होके आता है प्रिंट न्यूज़पेपर के अंदर टेक्स्ट के फॉर्म में ही आना है तो भले वो मल्टीमीडिया है लेकिन उस क्लिप के अंदर क्या है डिस्क्राइब किया जाएगा सो दे आर ट्रांसफॉर्मिंग इट अगर वॉइस में आया तो भी ट्रांसफॉर्म करेंगे अगर लिख के भी आया है उनके पास तो एज इट इज थोड़ी ना छापेंगे उसको एक फॉर्मेट में करेंगे सो दिस इज द पार्ट ऑफ ट्रांसफॉर्मिंग द डेटा टू one single format once that is there then you load it where do you load it you can load it to the softwares to mathematical models do some further process over it to a decision support system a lot many places so you are going to load it to where it is required and then you will start the fact finding okay I hope this is clear small little explanation of ETL text to columns in Excel can be classified as an ETL tool okay yeah you can see मतलब इट्स जस्ट अ प्रोसेस एक डेटा की प्रोसेस है कलेक्शन करके और उसको एक फॉर्म में लाके और किसी दूसरे सॉफ्टवेयर में या किसी प्रोसेसिंग यूनिट में डालने तक उसके बाद का प्रोसेस अभी तक नहीं बोला हमने ये खाली एक्सट्रैक्शन ट्रांसफॉर्म और लोड तक का प्रोसेस है उसके बाद क्या होता है वो हम आगे देखेंगे okay so I'll now change the somebody is adding unstructured form to a structured form yeah you can say that आप बोल सकते हैं ऐसा भी एक अनस्ट्रक्चर्ड फॉर्म से स्ट्रक्चर्ड फॉर्म में ले आए ठीक है आप बोल सकते हैं ओके सो आई विल बी नाउ starting another presentation Okay. uh, Decision support system. जब डिसीजन सपोर्ट सिस्टम की बात आती है तो हमें लगता है कि अब ये कुछ जादू होगा. सो अब आज आपको मैं बताऊंगा कि ये जादू क्या है, इसकी थोड़ी हकीकत जानेंगे, अंडरस्टैंड करेंगे डीएसएस है क्या. आई डोंट नो आपके आपके पास क्या आइडिया है. व्हाट डू यू थिंक डीएसएस है क्या, मतलब पहले आपसे ही जान लेते हैं. आपको क्या नोशन है, क्या ये कोई जादू की छड़ी है या कोई क्या है. आई डोंट नो, यू कैन टेल मी, आई लीव इट ओपन, open question to you all. IT that supports business decision. Okay, it's a tool. Okay, helps in systematic decision making. Anything that enhancing decision. IT systems. Okay, that's a correction. It's a support which is used for decisions. Okay, it's a supporting tool which is used for decision. Helps management in decision making by converting complex data into the simple structured form. Good, fair enough. System that helps to take decision. Okay, good. Informed decision based on the information. It helps executive while making a decision. Okay, help to take optimum guidance and decision. Okay. Okay, something more is coming up. I'll just put that. Mhm. It gives various options to decide. System for decision making. Mhm. It helps business by analyzing data from past and present. Okay, now similar answers are coming. All right, good. You have got some idea about it. Now, all right, let me help you understand a few things. So, uh, let's understand this. What is an importance of decision? So, I have a few questions to ask you, which are there in front of the screen. So, one by one, we'll go to each and every question. It's very important to understand these questions. Very important. ये लगेंगे बड़े obvious है, लेकिन इनको समझना बहुत जरूरी है. तो हम एक पूरे सिस्टम को समझ पाएंगे. ओके. सो पहला है, व्हाट इज द इम्पोर्टेंस ऑफ अ डिसीजन. प्राइमरी क्वेश्चन. तो आपके हिसाब से जो अगर कुछ दो तीन जवाब मिल जाए मुझे, व्हाट इज द इम्पोर्टेंस ऑफ अ डिसीजन, मतलब व्हाट डू यू थिंक. ज्यादा नहीं, दो या तीन जवाब चाहिए, एंड देन आई कैन गो टू अनदर. टू गेट द डिजायर्ड सोल्यूशन. ओके. Future results, to choose a strategy. Okay. It decides our entire process and results, creates our future, decision leads action. Okay, helps to achieve objectives, increase the pace. All right, great. Okay, another question. Okay, so now we've got a lot of things why it is important. बहुत सारे अपने अपने कारण है, सबकी अपने अपने हिसाब से reasons है, the importance. Okay, so how do we define a decision which is right or wrong? Another question. ठीक है. How do we define? इसका कुछ जवाब है हमारे पास. सही और गलत डिसीजन, इसका क्या हमें कैसे पता चलता है? बेस्ड ऑन द आउटकम. ओके, मतलब आउटकम कैसा, अच्छा बुरा. हाउ डू डिफाइन दैट? Information and knowledge experience. Okay, the results are favorable. Okay, this is a good answer. If we are able to predict its outcome, okay, based on the correct outcome, uh, based on the favorable results. Okay, favorable is seems to be a good answer. If it's helping in deriving the desired results, decision that solve problem based on the experience we've seen in the past. uh, Desired results verification with the predefined objective. Okay, this is again A to the point answer. Verification with the predefined objective. Good, good. If in organization favor, it is a right decision. Okay, there is no definition for right and wrong, by the way. Past results giving desired results, uh, expected outcome. If we would reach our goal, achieves anticipated outcome. Okay, anticipation has its own definition. Mhm. If the decision fulfills our need, okay. So we define right and wrong by our own set of rules. चोर चोरी कर रहा है, ये डिसीजन उसके लिए अच्छा है, आपके लिए बुरा है ना? चोर चोरी कर रहा है, पॉकेट मार रहा है कहीं स्टेशन पे, उसके लिए ये सही डिसीजन है, उसको गलत नहीं लग रहा है ये, इसलिए वो कर रहा है। एंड आपके लिए ये डिसीजन गलत है, अरे यार ये गलत बात है, ऐसा नहीं करना चाहिए। सो उसका राइट होना और रॉन्ग होना, इट्स टोटली डिपेंडिंग अपॉन द पर्सन टू पर्सन, हर एक का पर्सपेक्टिव डिफरेंट है। सो बेसिकली अगर वो सेट ऑफ रूल्स में बैठ रहा है तो वो राइट है। शायद हो सकता है कि आपका डिसीजन 100% सही है आपके हिसाब से, लेकिन उस डिसीजन से शायद बहुत लोगों का नुकसान हो रहा है। आपने कोई एक एक्स डिसीजन ले लिया कि नहीं मुझे ऐसा करना है, और वो डिसीजन लेकिन किसी और को भारी पड़ रहा है, हो सकता है। सो हाँ, रैशनल डिसीजन मेकिंग, लवली, आई लव दिस आंसर, परफेक्ट। This is very true. I'm going to discuss that further. Very true. Very true. Rational decision making. Second question. Do we take help while making decisions? क्या हम help लेते हैं? Yes or no? क्या हम decision लेने के time मदद लेते हैं? हाँ या ना? Yes. Yes. Okay. Somebody's written what is right for today may be wrong for later. For example, purchasing a big commercial land and for construction for five-star hotel may be right decision in the past, but after COVID-19, it's risky business. Okay. Mhm. Good. Okay, thank you, Prasadji, for sharing that example. Yes, yes, yes. Lot of yeses. Do we take help in making decisions? Yes, we take. So good. Second question. If we do take help, second question comes. How much do we really rely on the decision making help? जो वो help हमें मिली है, हम उस पर कितना rely करते हैं? How much do you rely? How much do we really rely? Uh, uh, 20%, not at all. Okay, it depends on the person. तो जिससे मिल रहा है, अच्छा. To senior experience knowledge based, we test. Okay, depends upon who's giving it. Depends on the information. Depends upon the source. Okay, similar line of answers. Sometimes emotions take over. Okay, ऐसा लगता है जैसे कभी कभी कुछ डिसीजन हमारे गलत है और इमोशंस की वजह से गलत हो जा रहे हैं. पॉसिबल, पॉसिबल. गट फीलिंग. ओके, वी गेट गट फीलिंग, हमें लगता है कि नहीं, काश ऐसा करना चाहिए. ओके, ट्रू. Depends on the quality of help. Okay, by taking a second opinion. Mhm. Based on the predicted outcome, how much one can influence also affects. Okay, that's very true. Depending on the credibility and the rationality of the situation. I like this answer. For the critical decision, people take second opinion. Fair enough. So how much we really rely after looking at the answers, we really don't rely. भरोसा फिर भी नहीं है. टोटल डिपेंड करता है कहाँ से आ रहा है, मतलब हेल्प कहाँ से आ रही है उसके ऊपर डिपेंड करता है. अच्छा. ओके. सेकंड, उसके बाद का एक क्वेश्चन, व्हाई डू वी टेक हेल्प फॉर मेकिंग डिसीजन? ओके. अगर हम रिलाई नहीं करते, ओके, फिर भी हम ले रहे हैं, देन व्हाई डू वी टेक? When we are not sure and lack of sufficient experience. Okay, fair enough. To have inputs to make sure we don't make a mistake. Okay, when we are not confident enough, possible alternative options to get different perspective, to take correct decision, to get different perspectives. Good to get see how what new angle we may not have seen to reach our goal with another perspective for statistical information. Mm, we can't find answer on Google, so we take this. I think knowledge gained from the person who know well. So this is so irony, you know. Look at the irony. हम डिसीजन लेने की जो हेल्प है इसलिए लेते हैं क्योंकि शायद हम श्योर नहीं है, हमें खुद पे भरोसा नहीं है, इन शॉर्ट। और अब जब हम हेल्प ले रहे हैं हमें उस पे भी भरोसा नहीं है। Isn't it an irony? That's what I can understand from the replies. To get a different POV so that maybe to overcome outcomes which may have not. Okay, to make an informed decision. इन्फॉर्म डिसीजन मतलब अपने आप को इन्फॉर्म करना चाहते हैं कि हाँ भाई ठीक है चलो, some information which might get overlooked. Hmm. But this is an irony. हमें खुद पे भी विश्वास नहीं है, हमें लगता है कि शायद मैं गलत हूँ इसलिए मुझे किसी की एडवाइस लेनी चाहिए। और जब हम एडवाइस लेते हैं तब हमें उस पर भी विश्वास नहीं है, क्योंकि फिर हम डाउट करते हैं कि जो सोर्स मुझे दे रहा है एडवाइस क्या वो सही है या गलत है। क्योंकि ऐसे आंसर्स आए थे इसलिए मैं बोलता हूँ, I'm not saying anything more. This is interesting. All right. अब लास्ट इन दोनों के हिसाब से लास्ट सवाल एक आता है। इन दिस सिनेरियो whom do we consider as a right decision making helper or support? तो अगर आप ये बोलते हैं कि भाई जहां से मुझे डिसीजन आ रहा है वो सोर्स पे मुझे डाउट है, तो भाई सही सोर्स कहाँ है? Somebody is writing Google. My God. Do you consider Google as a right decision making help or a support? Okay. Well, Google is a company. Authority in subject, experience, someone's using logic, experienced person. If it's proven to be accurate before, okay. मतलब आप प्रायर डेटा को ध्यान देंगे, इसलिए एक्सपर्ट पर्सन who are specialized in something. ओके, तो फिर इस हिसाब से मैं एक्सपर्ट हुआ आपके हिसाब से और मैं आपको कुछ डिसीजन दे दूं, हाउ मच यू विल रिलाई, यू विल स्टिल नॉट रिलाई। Historical experience. Okay, that's what is actually again another benchmark. Then the gut feeling. So if there has to be a gut feeling, then we don't really need a decision-making help. I mean, if it helps in achieving objective and are reliable, okay, then based on the past history, the person who provides the rational information, okay, based on the past history. Polling, somebody is saying polling. Okay. So they will ask multiple, they want multiple inputs, and then they will find out of the multiple inputs which is correct. Past trends and life. So basically, historical. Maximum answers what I see is leaning towards the past experience and historical data. If you've got a good historical data and we've got a good data bank of that, then probably our decision making is good. Okay, that's fair. Further, now uh, we've understood a part of decision. Okay, somebody's written a long message I need to read. Many times, disbursement of a loan decision maker many times go for a subject experts like product experts, industry experts, and finally sometimes all on the table looks good, but ground reality has to be checked. Okay, fair enough. For example, now since we've understood decision as a as an important term, why do we take it? We've got a lot of uh, questions answered on that, and definitely we know what is a decision. I don't need to explain that. Now we need to understand the system, okay? Because we're going to understand the decision support system. To make you understand a support system, first let us understand what is a system, and then we will understand the whole term of decision support system. Okay, so the system here has its own small little definition. Okay, it's a group of interrelated components working together towards a common goal by accepting the input and producing the output in an organization transformation process. So that's a formal, small little definition of a system. And in our scenario, when decision making is happening, then we are talking about decision support system. So all these interrelated components are working together for one goal, is to give you a better decision. Okay. All right. So this is another diagrammatical representation to understand a system. जो डेफिनेशन पीछे थी उसी को यहाँ बताया गया है. सिंपल है, बहुत ही सिंपल है. एक सिस्टम का explanation that there is certain set of inputs and then there is certain set of outputs, left to right. और इन सबके बीच में आता है system transformation process, internal conditions, which relies on two things, certain external conditions and internal conditions. और उन internal conditions के अंदर कुछ आ जाते हैं system performance, which again relies on profitability, overall cost, productivity, quality, risk, services, flexibility. ये सारी चीजों के ऊपर rely किया जाता है. I'm totally talking about an organization level. I'm not. The definition of a system would be different biologically and would be different in any other field, but we are sticking to an organization, so the terms are being used that way to make you understand that. Further, then what's DSS? Okay, understanding a decision support system. Now, it is a computer program application that analyzes the business data and presents it so that users can make decisions. So it's a piece of code which helps you analyze the data and give you a set of decisions which you can consider. A decision support system is a computer-based application that collects, organizes, and analyzes the business data to facilitate quality business decision making for the management, operations, and planning. A well-designed DSS aids decision makers in compiling a variety of data from the many different sources. And now there is no guarantee of the sources here. Okay, different sources, yes, but I am not guaranteeing the sources. Now, certain set of important considerations for DSS we need to understand. Now, we've learned that it's a piece of code, it's a software which is helping. DSS helps in decision making but does not necessarily give a decision itself. What do you think about this? It'll help you in decision making, but it might not give you a decision itself. आपको बताएगा, help करेगा, लेकिन decision नहीं देगा आपको. Then who will take the decision? Whom do you think will take the decision? If it will not take the decision, then who will do that? Us, user, we, है ना? जो उसके उस सिस्टम से गाइडेंस ले रहा है इंसान, जो अथॉरिटी है, जो डिसीजन मेकिंग अथॉरिटी है, वो लेगा डिसीजन. ये तो सिर्फ अथॉरिटी को एड करेगा. Decision making is a process of choosing amongst two or more alternative courses of action for the purpose of attaining one or more goals. Simple. That's a nutshell explanation of a decision making process. So you've got alternatives. and two or more, of course. If there is only single alternative, there is no decision making. मतलब choice ही नहीं है. There is only vanilla ice cream at home right now. I'm gonna have that. There is no choice. But there's an option. My refrigerator is full with vanilla ice cream, chocolate one, and maybe strawberry. So I have one option. So then I need to, uh, you know, uh, need to make some decision like which one to have. Somebody might say, we'll have all three. Okay, fair enough. Somebody's writing radiologist. Oh, okay, I know why. Okay, let's understand a decision-making process. All right, a decision is a choice from multiple alternatives, usually made with a fair degree of rationality. Somebody spoke about rationality a few minutes back, and then I said, yes, that's something which we're going to discuss ahead. So I'm sure people know what is rationality. May I know from you all when they say fair degree of rationality? Maybe whatever comes to your mind. Depends upon certain sets of situations. It's not idealistic. It's more rational. It depends upon a certain set of internal and external forces when you take your decision. Uh, People are writing logic. Yes, thinking process. Okay. Logical based on experience and gut. Well, gut means stomach. I don't know why. Okay, I've read an article, a wonderful article about gut feeling. Oh, which is not irrational. That's a wonderful answer. I love this answer. मतलब सुपर है. वाइवा में जब मैं क्वेश्चन पूछता हूँ अपने बच्चों को, आई रिमेम्बर, वो कुछ ऐसा ही आंसर देते हैं. Okay, obviously, okay, fair. Which is not highly risky and impulsive. Okay, fair enough. Not highly risky and impulsive. Then again, in this scenario, you need to define risk. You need to define high risk. आपको define करना पड़ेगा और फिर आप उसमें इसकी understanding भी चाहिए. All right. So, in short, in nutshell, uh, a decision making is a choice from multiple alternatives, usually made with a fair degree of rationality. Why am I talking all this? The reason is we need to understand the system, the software which is there. It will also work accordingly. उसमें भी ये सारी चीजें होनी चाहिए. तो ही तो वो डिसीजन मेकिंग में हेल्प कर पाएगा. इट शुड बी रैशनल. कुछ इनपुट्स के बेसिस पे ही तो बता. इनपुट्स ही नहीं है, लॉजिक ही नहीं है, तो सिस्टम कैसे बताएगा? So it should be rational. Then decision made by knowledge workers in public and private. A second sentence. So decision made by knowledge workers in public and private. So it could be in the process could be public, process could be private. Sometimes it's open, sometimes it's closed. Third, the decision making process is part of broader subject usually referred to as problem solving. So this process is for a very important factor, that's problem solving. The last one, which refers to the process through which individuals try to bridge the gap between the current operating conditions of a system and supposedly better conditions to be achieved in future. And that's what we are working. Future has to be better. A logical flow of a problem solving now comes into the picture. Now, since it is highlighted that the decision making process, okay, it's all about problem solving. So how it flows till the final decision is achieved at the end, There are certain set of criterias it needs to pass. We can call them as filters, the set of alternatives which we have, out of which we are making decisions, and these alternatives have a direct impact from the environment and the problem. So in a real world environment, okay, so your entire system has to work with the real world environment. The impact has to come from there, and the problem in that environment, and then the certain set of alternatives. I'll give you a good enough example. Right now, every company is trying to go online. Okay. Now this is why I'm saying, because again I encountered this as one of my client problem. Everyone wants to take a cloud-based solution for their companies because people want to work remotely from home. Okay. Now there are certain. Now here comes the scenario. Now there are tons of alternatives available. To name a few, maybe Microsoft Teams, or Google products like Google G Suite, and there's Dropbox, and there are certain people who are providing their own set of servers. Many options, many alternatives are there. But depending upon the environment and the problem you are facing, you might really not need Teams, because you can work with Dropbox. All you need to do is do a data share. You don't need anything more. Okay, possible. Or probably you might require something more. Only one small solution cannot work for you. You want file sharing as well and editing as well. Okay. So the alternative changes. So depending on that and the set criteria, you come to one decision making. You're getting it? So I hope this tiny example can make you understand the logical flow of the problem solving. What is the problem? The problem is to find the best solution for your office, which cloud solution you should be using. I think this is currently a bigger problem in major industry. I feel that. I don't know how far it is true. Okay. I hope this is clear. Shall we go further? Okay, so we'll go further. Understanding the rational approach in decision making. So as I said, we're gonna focus on the rational approach. Okay. Now we already know the rational approach. So rational approach to decision making implies that the options fulfilling the best performance criteria is selected out of all the possible alternatives. So this is very important. So for the software and the system which you are creating, your system should have a rational approach. You want your system to have, but then there are certain factors which are influencing your rational choice. Okay, I know that Microsoft Teams is good, but it is expensive. Okay, maybe not now. Okay, I might not have to go for that. Economic problem first. I understand that an XYZ cloud technology, having it at my own office, is going to save a lot of money. That's beautiful. What if I can have a CPU with a dedicated IP in my office and create my own cloud in my office so that I can have a secured and a dedicated network for my office? Yes, lovely. But technical problems, high chances that somebody has to, work on it. We all are chartered accountants. Our office is full of people who are non-technical in terms of information technology. So probably that's not the right choice. Okay, fair enough. Uh, Third possibility, legal. Okay, you are working in an environment wherein legally setting up that entire server is not possible, gone down, you can't do it. But there could be certain ethical problems also. Everything is correct, but ethically we shouldn't be doing this. Why? Because maybe our company's motto is like that. There is a scenario where we cannot work ethically. We cannot have the solution because it's not ethically right. Simple example: you are working for Google and now looking for a solution from Microsoft. Is it ethically right? No. Google will say, we have a solution. Why don't you use it? But you say, no, Microsoft Teams is better. I don't like Google. But ethically, you cannot. You're already a part of Google. You're working for Google. Working. Google is paying you. And then you are saying them that, okay, let's switch to Microsoft. They might not like it, possibly. And there could be procedural, certain set of procedures that influence. Okay, this process or this procedure is not right, or this procedure is right. So these are certain factors which will influence our rational choice. Possibly, am I correct? Any questions so far or any inputs so far from your end? I hope the example is fair enough to make you connect. Okay, thank you. Example is rational. Okay, good, good one, good one. So true. Okay, so evolution of DSS, how it came into the picture. Okay, so there is a little history connected to everything. So we'll be going through that. In 1970s, there began to arise within enterprise increasingly complex needs to devise a software application and which was called as management information system in order to ease the access. Uh, they wanted an entire management information system wherein they need to ease their employer match MIS. I'm sure there would be people who were there during 1970s, so probably they might have understood, they might have seen this requirement. I know if we have students or the participants from that age group. Then came the mainframe computers for those days, uh, which lacked graphical visualization capabilities, and they were not as advanced as the machinery which we have right now. Okay, of course, that's fine. Communicated with the users through the character-based computer terminal and the dot printers, like those dot matrix printers. That's how things used to be. So further difficulty lay organization structure companies based on the highly centralized information system department, usually resulting in very long and frustrating time delays in implementing changes or the extensions available for the application. So that used to happen. Then what happened? Then in 1980s, introduction of personal computers came into the picture with an operating system featuring the graphic interface and a pointing device, which is mouse. You know who created that pointing device? Anyone knows? जो माउस का कर्सर कर्सर है किसने बनाया था क्या हम जानते हैं उसकी वजह से आप वो ब्यूटीफुल माउस कर्सर यूज कर पा रहे हैं टेक्निकली वो किसने बनाया जॉब्स knows no. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Any more answers? माउस कर्सर किसने बनाया था मतलब मतलब मार्केट किस जानती है कि इस बंदे की वजह से ये चीज आई है बाय एप्पल डॉक्यूमेंट्स Okay. IBM. Okay. Xerox. My God. So Xerox Park. Okay. Mm-hmm. Douglas. It's a Google answer. Okay. Fair enough. So many answers, but then you've Googled it. Hmm. Okay. So again, so these things came into the picture in 1980s. Okay. Uh, Thanks to Mr. Bill Gates, he got Windows operating system. Okay. हमारे कैसे लाए क्या लाए तो भगवान ही जानते हैं. बहुत सारी मूवीज बनी है उसके ऊपर, डॉक्यूमेंट्रीज बनी है. कितनी हद तक क्या सही है किसी को नहीं पता. डिफिकल्ट टू इवन से. But yeah, Bill Gates is one person who gave a beautiful operating system to people. Okay, उन्होंने somehow Bill Gates started with Windows. That's the name which is there. History, I don't know क्या सही है क्या गलत है. Not to comment on that. This led to the most proactive knowledge workers to create a local database and develop simulation models. So then it came कि हाँ अब graphic है, mouse cursor है. Somebody saying Pirates of Silicon Valley. Okay, yes, yes, yes. So you can watch that. So in short, in a nutshell, proactive approach came in. Local database बनने शुरू हो गए. Simulation models की तैयारी हो गई कि हाँ graphical output आ रहा है तो चलो कुछ बनाया जाता है. ओके. जैसे कि एग्जांपल में बताया गया है कि स्प्रेडशीट्स. ओके. ओके. फॉर द इंफॉर्मेशन सिस्टम एंड planned information system were the first introduced towards the late 1980s to support executives in decision-making process. Okay, so information system and planned information system. This was introduced in 19. This term was used in 1980s. Okay, and if you remember, I've spoken on the information system during my first primary lecture. Okay, so that's how the decision making process started. 1980s, people started taking help of a machine for decision making. They understood कि हाँ अब डेटा को हम विजुलाइज कर सकते हैं, अंडरस्टैंड कर सकते हैं. तो विजुलाइजेशन बहुत जरूरी थी. Okay. Finally, towards the end of 1990s, the term business intelligence was coined and began to be used to generally address the architecture containing DSS, analytical methodologies, and models used to transform data into useful information and knowledge for decision makers. So 1990s के बाद, ओके, ये गाड़ी स्टार्ट हो गई. बिजनेस इंटेलिजेंस का नाम कॉइन हो गया और DSS came into the picture, decision making came into the picture, and analytical methods came into the picture. All right. So now DSS, it consists of the three elements: A, a database; B, a repository; C, mathematical models. So database is a part and a process where ETL happens. Repositories, wherein from the database the information mining is happening, and for the decision making a certain set of information is stored and the mathematical models working on them. So the entire structure is there in front of you, which consists of the data, the models, the graphical interface, and which gives us a decision making power. And there is a decision maker who, using that graphical interface, working with data and the models, is giving us an output. So DSS is overall a system, not a one shot software. कोई एक वन शॉट छोटा सा सॉफ्टवेयर नहीं है कि हे जादूगर बताओ हम क्या ये डिसीजन लेके नहीं, ऐसा नहीं. इट्स अ सिस्टम जिसको देख के समझ के आपको अपने हिसाब से आउटपुट लेने हैं. आपको डेटा दे दिया जाएगा, डेटा को विजुलाइज करने के मेथड्स बता दिए जाएंगे, विजुलाइजेशन को ग्राफिकली रिप्रेजेंट किया जाएगा और उसको समझ के, परख के, और फिर आपको अपना सही डिसीजन लेना है. The objectives of the entire DSS are been given here is to save the time and efforts in decision making process, to help in processing the collected data and in producing a suggested solution to a problem, to provide a sophisticated and fast analysis of vast amount of data and information, to provide support for decision makers at all the management levels, mainly in semi-structured or unstructured situations. Now, this is very important. By bringing together human judgment and computerized information. So जो सिस्टम है वो शायद सेमी स्ट्रक्चर्ड होगा या अनस्ट्रक्चर्ड हो सकता है. Situations can be unstructured or semi structured. मतलब data can be in the similar way, and combining the computerized information and the human judgment, which is very important. You know, this works. The objective of the DSS is done. Then another objective is to promote learning, which leads to the new demands and the refinement of applications. So another good objective of a DSS is learning. It gives you an understanding and gives you, it opens the avenues of learning. You learn more, you understand more. Okay, that I have learned today that out of the a million records of data I have learned that they are between 18 to 22 years of age. Good, that's a learning. Or from the entire record system of a million records you've got, you've learned that the interest of these people is more in sports. The data is of those people who are interested in more in sports. Good, that's your learning. How did that learning came in? Because you saw that the records which are there, okay, the history they were searching for over the browser shows that the interest is more towards sports. Okay, fair enough. That's your learning. It could be in percentage. It could be like 90%. Okay, fine, good. 10% is something else. So I can have a judgment that the high chances are in sports and not in something else. To provide an efficient and effective solution of every complex problem. That is a main objective. Giving an effective and efficient solution. So आपका काम भी होना चाहिए, effective होना चाहिए और efficient भी होना चाहिए क्योंकि आपकी जो solution है उसके लिए. To check the impact of the changes on the proposed solution with help of what if analysis. What if, most important what if analysis. Decision making में हमें सबसे बड़ी प्रॉब्लम ये होती है कि अगर ऐसा किया तो क्या. What if I choose this? What if I choose that? What if I choose that? So here the important part is to understand that what if. What happens if you choose a particular domain and then you go on that. That's an option. All right, something is coming up. Doing Excel analysis is DSS, or there is some other software also of DSS. If yes, you can give example other than Excel. Definitely in Excel, when you are doing analysis for decision making, yes, it is a wonderful software which can help you in decision making. Okay, and there'll be several other tools. See, as I said, DSS कोई एक single tool नहीं है. It's a conglomeration, a combination of several tools and techniques. तो आप एक सिंगल टूल के ऊपर नहीं, क्या ये टूल, बहुत सारे टूल्स हैं जो आपको डिसीजन मेकिंग में हेल्प करेंगे. तो ये पूरा सिस्टम है. इट्स प्योरली एन एंटायर सिस्टम. हाँ, पॉसिबल है कि ये सिस्टम आपको कोई एक कंपनी या एक सर्विस प्रोवाइडर दे. Can you please elaborate how Excel acts as an DSS? Okay, I'll elaborate. For example, in Excel, you have a record of all your employees. You've got an employee data and you've got like 250 employees in the company. And in Excel, you are maintaining a record of your employees. Let's say you're maintaining a record of an employees about their location from where they travel. So with that, you want to shift to another good office. So now to understand where you need to shift, you can work around with the location data to understand a maximum amount of public where do they stay. So what we'll do is we'll divide the data in a way in like three segments. Like I can say South Bombay, I can say the central suburbs, and then the western suburbs. So my people come from these three areas. So depending upon the locality, they have mentioned their addresses. Now that I know that out of 250, these many people they come from the South Bombay, these many people they come from the central suburbs, and these many people come from the western suburbs. Now I need to shift my office to a location which is convenient to all. And I see there are 200 employees which are coming from the western suburbs. And there are like a few which are coming from the South Bombay, there are very few coming from the central. Okay, high chances that I might move my office in that area. A very simple decision making, very smallest example, and maybe my Excel can give that. And there could be variety of such examples coming by analyzing the data. Okay, you can use those charts in Excel. Okay, comparison charts. You can have certain pie charts, or you can have some graphs to understand. Your Excel gives you a lot of graphical data. You create a two-dimensional graph having two different columns compared and understand further. Yes, somebody is writing pivots and sorting. Yeah, definitely. You can use pivot charts. Okay, so it's a graphical representation of an Excel, which gives you an idea. I hope the example is fair, Mr. Bhavesh. Any further question from anyone else? All right, welcome. Any further questions? All right. अंडरस्टैंडिंग द लिमिटेशंस ऑफ डीएसएस, हमने ये तो देख लिया डीएसएस जादूगर है, लेकिन कहीं कहीं मेरा डीएसएस नहीं भी चलेगा, ये भी तो देखें. सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट व्हाट डीएसएस कांट. First, just a moment, there is a question. When you say several tools means what kinds of different tools? All those tools which are helping you to analyze your data, such as the spreadsheet, your Excel, the business intelligence tools like Microsoft's Power BI, any data analytical tools, maybe a query processor. So you can use any such tool which is working on the data. Okay. All right. The limitations first. DSS can't replace human decision-making talent such as creativity, imagination, or intuition. Do you agree? First thing, it cannot replace the cognitive intelligence. If you remember, we've spoken on the cognitive intelligence, the gut feeling, what you say. It cannot replace. I know that according to the pivot charts data, what I see, that I should be shifting to western suburbs because everyone stays there. But my gut feeling says if I take a wonderful office which is sea facing at marine lines, people will enjoy that more. Okay, possible. What do you think? So there are high chances that people might not mind to travel all the way to a wonderful office at Marine Lines, which is sea facing apartment. Wow, people wouldn't mind that. Chalega. And you tell that you can come at 12 o'clock. It's okay, doesn't matter. How about that? 12 बजे भी आ सकते हैं, मतलब ट्रैवल करने में भी प्रॉब्लम नहीं पड़ेगा. So maybe that creativity, the imagination, the intuition part works well. DSS does not have eyes to see reality. Okay. I wouldn't say it doesn't have eyes to see reality. Reality is all about set of inputs. अगर आप वो सारे सेट ऑफ इनपुट्स अपने उस सिस्टम को दे देते हैं तो शायद वो इनपुट्स उसकी आंखें बन जाएगा. Second point, DSS are generally designed to be narrow in scope of application. This prevents their generalized use to multiple decision-making contexts. Very, very true. DSS systems जो भी हैं वो एक particular decision making के लिए narrow down करके रखे हैं. Okay, it is just narrow down. मतलब limitations लगा दी गई हैं. इतना ही तुझे आउटपुट देना है because it's a piece of code. Okay, उसका scope, उसका working is narrowed down to one thing. You have to find the convenient shortest path. For example, a best decision making example I would say Google Maps. Google Maps will show you a shortest available path. Okay, good. It will show you a shortest available path and you will work on that path because वो आपको traffic से सब कुछ calculate करके बताएगा. Yes or no? Google Maps we all have used. So it shows us a shortest available path. क्या हम इस चीज पे agree करते हैं? All right. There are no answers. I don't know people whether they agree or not. Uh-huh. Okay. It shows us. So isn't that a DSS? Isn't that a DSS? क्योंकि वो भी किसी डेटा को एनालाइज कर रहा है. So isn't that a DSS? It is a DSS. It is helping us show a shortest path. It is a tool which is helping me understand the traffic is there at this location more and this location less, so this is the shortest path. Okay. It means a time that one objective is solved. Yeah, definitely. So, but the point is, that is the shortest path, but I might not want to take that shortest path because I have, or rather, I want to travel more. I want to enjoy the ride. I might want to take the longest path. मुझे घूम के जाने में ज़्यादा इंटरेस्ट है. मैं छोटा रास्ता नहीं जाना क्यों क्योंकि मुझे गाड़ी चलानी है. मुझे एंजॉय करना है. रिमज किया मेरा कोई काम है तो शायद वो दूसरे रास्ते से जाके ठीक फुलफिल हो. तो शॉर्टेस्ट पाथ आई कैन नॉट टेक. There could be several reasons. So, but then again, Google Maps is not going to understand that, right? उसको नहीं पता कि आपका मूड नहीं है शॉर्टेस्ट पाथ पे जाने का या आपकी जरूरत नहीं है शॉर्टेस्ट पाथ पे जाने की. It is going to funnel that small scope which has been mentioned. Somebody is writing how Google recognizes traffic in congestion. Simple for now. The Google Maps, what you use, open source, it is for the people, by the people, depending upon the people who are already traveling on the particular roadmap. It totally works on that. Okay, so I remember teaching my students something. I'll come to that. I'll come to that. There is no machine learning here. Huh? No machine learning here. I'll come to this. Give me a moment. So don't guess anything wrong. I have answer for it. Let me finish third point and I'll answer that. Third is languages and the command interface are not sophisticated. So that is again another limitation of DSS. When the inputs itself which are not sophisticated. Okay. सही input नहीं मिल पाता. बहुत सारे कारण हैं. So then again that is again it needs the right input. Okay. So let me. Okay, a lot of people have written data congestion in a particular area. Maybe use. No. Don't conclude. Don't conclude. It's a beautiful subject, a geographic information system. Okay, so now there was an experiment conducted, and this is a real experiment conducted. I can also share the news link. Somebody has done this a small little experiment by collecting hundreds of cell phones, keeping them keeping their GPS alive, okay, and keeping those hundreds of cell phones in one rack and slowly moving those cell phones on a road to create a fake traffic on an empty road. It it works well. Okay. uh, okay, this news is so true because Google works on the maximum possibility of people. आप ट्रैवल करते हैं आप ही के डेटा से अंडरस्टैंड करके आप ही को आउटपुट दिया जाता है. Okay, so on Google Map you can create a fake traffic. This is very much true. This was not the fake idea. ऐसा possible है. Okay, because Google Map is an open source platform which works for the people by the people. Understand that. But then there is another solution, a paid solution of Google Earth, which is used by military, which is used by government, and which is used by companies for that matter, which does not work on this principle. Okay, so they do have another solution, a paid solution of Google Earth, where they give you APIs for a correct, absolute correct traffic mapping. Okay, and it works with a lot of satellite imagery data, so it doesn't goes with for the people and by the people. Uh, okay, there's a nice comedy example shared when there was a heavy rain in Mumbai. That time Google Maps showed that you can reach fast because you did not consider waterlogging. Uh, there is a difference in accuracy too. Is this a question for Google Earth? Yes. The paid one? Yes. Yes. All right. Moving further ahead, I hope I'm not boring people. I hope you're not getting bored because there is a lot of theory to understand DSS. There is a lot of depth to understand DSS. This is more like you can say your management thing. We never study management, especially being science students. So we work more on the numbers. Okay. So, but this is something like that. I don't know. Does it work in remote village location? What works? Google Maps, open source, or the paid solutions of Google? Both work actually, practically. It works on remote village. Google Earth, yeah, yeah, definitely it works. Definitely it works. Uh, Not the Google Earth which you see on the Play Store available for free. I'm not talking about that. They have a separate paid solution. Okay, so and even that free solution works. Correct. I've tried and tested at the remotest location possible. I love to travel and I've traveled across entire country. You name the state and I've been there. It's like that. So and I've tried Google Earth and I've tried Google Maps as well. It works, but sometimes it gives you errors also. That's another catch. Okay, types of DSS understanding. There are certain types of decision support systems which are being fairly categorized. Okay, and we'll be learning them. First could be a status inquiry system. Okay, so it helps in taking operational management level or a middle level management decisions. So we can call it as a status inquiry system. For example, daily schedules of jobs to machines or machine to operators. So एक छोटा सा सिस्टम है जो बता रहा है कि आज की अटेंडेंस कितनी है, आज कितने लोग काम पे आए कितने लोग नहीं आए, कितनी मशीन्स चालू है कितनी मशीन्स नहीं चालू है. Simple, very simple status inquiry system. Okay, that is also a type of DSS which helps you taking a decision कि okay आज की तारीख में इतनी मशीन्स चालू थी और इतनी नहीं चालू थी, whatever. A data analysis system. It needs comparative analysis and makes use of formula or an algorithm. For example, cash flow analysis, inventory analysis. For example, there is an inventory of medicines, and a certain set of medicines are running out of stock. So your system will give you a pop-up saying that this medicine is running out of stock and the sale is too high. You need to now stock it up. Possible. A data analysis system, which will tell you that. Okay, third example, information analysis system. Now, this system, in this system, data is analyzed and information report is generated. For example, the sales analysis, accounts receivable systems. Okay, so possible. I'm sure if you're using Zoho, I don't know how many of you are using it, but you know Zoho. Zoho is an information analysis system. It gives you all that, and then Sales IQ is one of their product which gives you that data. आ- आपने कभी यूज किया है या पता नहीं मतलब अगर आपको पता हो तो Salesforce is another big conglomerate company which does that. But Zoho is a very locally easily available solution for information analysis. If you are looking for, so it gives you the sales report, it gives you the accounts receivable, market analysis. ये छोटी छोटी चीजें Zoho के अंदर इनबिल्ट हो जाती है बहुत ब्यूटीफुल है. What's the difference between data versus information? Okay, that was my first explanation when I started my first lecture in AI. I'll tell you. Simple data is a collection of raw facts and figures. Information is a processed form of data in a nutshell. So data raw facts and figures है और उसको जब process किया जाता है और उसमें से निकाला जाता है that is information. Uh, Zero is not much used in India. Zero, oh, you mean to say Zoho? No, Zoho is used in India. बहुत लोग यूज करते हैं. I see a lot of people like in my vicinity, like whom I know, people are using Zoho. A lot of people are happily using Zoho. I don't know. It could be your analysis. Okay. Uh, but then it's a good system. It's a fairly good system. You can try it. They give you some free trial also for 15 or 30 days, something like that. So Zoho is used in US. Tally is usually used in India. Okay, I know Tally is used, but Tally is one of the product which even Zoho has, but Zoho has another products which are not in Tally. They are used like billing system, Zoho का sales analysis system, sales IQ जिसका नाम है, Zoho का social बहुत ज़्यादा use होता है because I have used it for one of my client I know. Okay, CRM, yes, उसका customer relationship management tool that is used. People use Zoho CRM a lot. So is a homegrown product. Yeah, it is a homegrown product. Yeah, good. So you can use it. You can try it. Since you are asking about good DSS software, Sales IQ is one of the inbuilt analysis of. I'm not doing any branding of Zoho. मतलब काश मुझे Zoho थोड़े पैसे देगा था इस चीज के. But I'm not doing branding. But yeah, I try to avoid names. But you can use. It's just an example. Okay. Then another type of CSS, let's understand accounting system. Accounting system तो शायद आप मुझे बताएंगे मैं क्या आपको बताऊं. It keeps the track of accounting and finance related to information and for example final account, account receivable, account payable. मेरे लिए ये सब Hebrew and Jew and German है. So शायद आपके लिए it makes a lot of sense. Final account, accounts receivable, accounts payable, and all that. These terms. But yeah, accounting system, and I'm sure all the CAs are very well versed with that. I don't need to even explain. Then comes the model-based systems, simulation models or optimization models used for decision making, which are used infrequently and creates general guidelines for operation or management. So could be model-based system, for example, a weather forecast model, or AQI index model, or maybe the population mapping model. Could be many such models, such systems. Uh, okay. Uh, Now moving further, that these are the types to make you understand. Air quality index AQI means. Okay, but I think it's a general term. So, मतलब सबको पता है AQI. Okay, developing your own DSS. वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। सो मैंने इतना तो बोल दिया कि ये डीएसएस है, सिस्टम है, ये कोई एक सिंगल सॉफ्टवेयर नहीं है। सो व्हेन यू आर डेवलपिंग योर ओन डीएसएस, a small little run through which you all can do it when you want to implement DSS at your place. Understand your requirements. Simple है बहुत, एक रुपए का रॉकेट साइंस नहीं है इसमें। सिंपल, अंडरस्टैंड योर रिक्वायरमेंट्स, आपकी जरूरत समझो, प्लान on what you really require, what you really don't require, how you are going to meet the requirements, and many more things. Maybe brainstorming sessions, analysis on that, and then designing a system. Like I've got a certain set of requirements, and I'm now planning and designing it, implementing it, and the delivery. Means either it could be a delivery or it could be to your own. So it's fairly simple that when we have to implement our own DSS, for example, you want to implement, you have a company which is of 1,000 employees, and you want to implement a decision support system to understand how many employees you should retain and how many employees you should let go and how many employees you should hire. तो आपको अपना हायरिंग को अंडरस्टैंड करना है कि कैसे किया जाए. So your beautiful DSS system can be developed in an entire environment जो आपको ये बताए कि it will collect information about a lot of things. Okay, so requirement बहुत clear है कि to understand the hiring process of a company which is having roughly 1,000 employees. So now looking at the requirement of the work, you will understand कि कितना काम है कंपनी में और क्या उसके सामने एम्प्लॉयज उतने हैं काम करने के लिए इक्विवेलेंट, yes or no. If no, then the hiring process starts. So how you will hire, maybe you hire more people, or there is a possibility कि काम के सामने लोग की जगह पे ऐसा भी है कि out of 1,000 people there are 200 people who are not performing. तो शायद से सीए वाली लैंग्वेज में या कॉमर्स वाली लैंग्वेज में उसको नॉन परफॉर्मिंग असेट्स भी बोला जाता है. ओके, आई नो हाउ फार इट्स ट्रू, आई एम जस्ट मेकिंग इट अप. So these are those non-performing assets where you need to fire them off. So because of them, अगर आप वो fulfill कर लो तो शायद you will be able to meet. Okay, so your DSS will give you an idea whether you will really have to hire 200 more people or you need to chuck off 200 and get more new good working 200 ones, which is going to make huge difference. आपके 200 लोगों की जो सैलरी वेस्ट हो रही है या शायद आप और ज्यादा वेस्ट करने वाले थे कहीं, तो आप समझ जाओ, अटक जाओ. सो यू विल अंडरस्टैंड हाउ मेनी पीपल आर, हाउ विल यू अंडरस्टैंड जो लोग आ रहे हैं उनकी अटेंडेंस देखी जाएगी. ओके, हाउ मच दे आर वर्किंग. ओके, उनका उनके केपीआईज देखे जाएंगे. ओके, उनकी प्रोडक्टिविटी देखी जाएगी, हाउ मच प्रोडक्टिव दे आर. तो केपीआईज के थ्रू ये देखा जाता है. ओके, सो with all these you will come to a calling solution that yeah, whether you need to hire or not. So you need to make a system for that, which is going to help you in taking decisions. And this system will derive information from the attendance, from the productivity, from the managers or senior manager reports, or and from the requirement analysis of the work and the many more. And with these understandings, you will come down to one conclusion whether you should be hiring or not, or whether you should be firing actually instead of hiring. Okay, so all that works. That's understanding and developing your own DSS. Now, finally, try to understand another part, a mathematical model. Now, I have left it somewhere a little bit, and I'll go back to the same one just a minute. Any questions so far? Any questions so far? So we've spoken on the mathematical model. Okay. So I've left this slide on purpose advantages of these mathematical models. Okay, so what are these models and what are their advantages? First thing, we've learned about these models a little bit. Uh, they represent a real world problem, the situation which is there. Okay, because DSS works on these mathematical models. Now, as I gave you an example of a hiring system, so we need to create a mathematical model for that, which will give me certain set of information from all the different places. And these mathematical models are going to analyze and give us some conclusion or some outcome. So these models help managers to take decisions faster and more accurately, of course. So DSS is going to work on that. Typically offer a convenient and the cost advantage over the means of obtaining the required information on reality. Now, when I say cost advantages, cost does not signify money. When we talk in our science, maybe or in mathematics rather, cost does not mean only money. Yeah, we try to understand that cost advantages here could be the time, or could be the resource, could be energy, could be anything. Any that kind of asset which is getting saved is my cost. Okay. The fourth one, large and complex problems that can be solved with ease. Of course, so this is another biggest advantage of having a mathematical model. That and we've seen a couple of models yesterday. Okay, and there are many more. The models act as communicators to other by providing information and impact in changing conditions. Yes, it does. Okay, it'll help you with to understand and to change into the environment. um, Another advantage, which can be appreciated particularly in the long term, yes, connecting to the same, in long term things can be beneficial. So the mathematical models can help you predict and understand the future so that you can have a long term betterment, a deeper understanding of a phenomena of under investigation that a mathematical model can do. It can give you a deeper understanding. And transferred in the long run to other individuals within the same organization, thus allowing a sharper preservation of knowledge in comparison to the empirical decision making process. That's all about the mathematical models. Let me. Uh, are you interested in understanding more about the mathematical models? Uh, that I have a lot more on that. I hope this is understood. Okay, great. People want to know more. That's good. I'm happy to know. Uh, I'm sharing. I'm just opening my book. Okay. This is the book of business intelligence which I have written like 2 years back. Somebody's asking, do we have to study advanced mathematics for it? No, you don't have to. Don't worry. I'm not going to show you the ABCD or maybe formulas. Just how much I might like that. All right. So types of mathematical models we can use these to understand. And can you see the screen? Like, can you see the screen? This is just my book which I've opened. Okay. So I hope my screen is visible. I'll just shift it. Thank you. Let me, okay. So as said, oh, sorry. The instrument used to represent the real world manner is called a mathematical model, and a model is a selective abstraction of a real system. So You can define your own abstraction of an entire real system, and this abstraction is shown okay as so there are certain types which are mentioned. Could be iconic, analogical, could be deterministic, symbolic, stochastic, static, or dynamic. So based on the characteristics, the models are being classified or the types are been given. So how the mathematical models are, I've already said that they work on the real world situation. So it could be iconic model. An iconic model is a material representation of a real system whose behavior is follows for the purpose of analysis. So example, a miniaturized model of a new city, iconic model. Okay, I'll come to each and every. What is stochastic? I'll come to that. So we're going first iconic. A three multidimensional model as an airplane, car, or building. So these are iconic models. Okay, photographs, two-dimensional photographs. So these are iconic models. City का जैसे मॉडल देख लो, miniature city का या किसी building का architecture देख लो, इनको iconic model बोला जाता है. Okay, so even these are the models which gives you a decision making. हाँ? मतलब आपको घर खरीदना है और आप वो बिल्डिंग का ठीक है. So that we call these as iconic models. उसके बाद में होते हैं एनालॉजिकल मॉडल्स. ओके, analogical models these are closely associated with the iconic models. However, they are not replicas of the problem situation. Rather, they are small physical systems that have similar characteristics and work like an original object or a system. Example बताता हूँ. ये जो दिख रहा है ये एनालॉजिकल मॉडल है. ये रियल वर्ल्ड सिस्टम और मॉडल ऐसे डब्बे बना देना, छोटे छोटे डब्बे बना के हम जो करते हैं ना वैसा. सो उसको बोला जाता है ऑर्गेनाइजेशन चार्ट्स शोइंग द स्ट्रक्चर, अथॉरिटी, रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी, रिलेशनशिप. जो हमारे ईआर डायग्राम्स होते हैं, एंटिटी रिलेशनशिप डायग्राम्स. Okay, my voice is not coming. Is it just your voice in building examples? Sorry, I'm sorry. Is it clear now? Is my voice audible? Okay, sorry. Maybe some network error happens. Technology. कभी कभी कुछ हो जाता है. Ah, okay. So then there are analogical models. As I said, these are the flow charts, entity relationship diagrams, ER diagrams. Okay, आप कभी कभी आप कुछ ऐसे ही draw करके बना देते हो या children's toy model of rails and blah blah blah. Okay. When after that there are deterministic models, models which you can determine based on the hypothesis, based on certain set of previous records. You can determine something. And deterministic model, all the data input are supposed to be known prior. So they are on the prior probability of the scenario and could also be over the posterior probability of the scenario. Okay, so in these models, everything is predefined and the results are uncertain, beneficial for a variety of management problems. Example, deterministic model hypothesis of knowing the data with certainly may be relaxed. Calculation to determine a return of 5-year investment with an annual interest rate of 7%. So this is a purely statement which will relate to accountancy. Okay. Uh, Going further, so these are the deterministic models which rely on a prior set of data. You can determine the annual returns. You can determine the maybe the interest which is on which your money is kept, and you'll be receiving some amount of interest on that. You can determine all that. So these are those deterministic models. Then comes the symbolic models. Okay, they are on symbols like the graphs, the charts. Okay, the symbolic model is an abstract representation of a real system. Somebody is writing more related to formulae and theories. Yes. Then comes stochastic. Okay, the question which was been asked earlier. Stochastic means probabilistic models. Based on their probabilities, these are the predictive models. Okay, in stochastic model, some input information represents random events and therefore characterized by the probability of distribution, whether my stock which I have purchased will inflate or will go down. So that could be a stochastic model, maybe a model which is used to predict the price of the stock, a model which is used to predict the price of a metal, okay, like gold. So these are the stochastic models. Okay, so these are more probabilistic ones, and they are definitely very uncertain. Okay, because the inputs are uncertain that way. So I hope the stochastic question which was been asked has been answered. So these models got some inputs, and they work on the uncertainty. Okay, and they are often used for strategic decision making involving an organization's relationship to its environment. Okay, then there are static models. A static model considered a given system and related decision-making process within one single temporal stage or over a period of equal duration. So these are linear models, I would say, a very static model. It's very simply said that, for example, the house rent will increment by 10% every year. It is a static model. Every year you will have a 10% increment in your house rent. Or another static model, there for a tenure of 5 years, your salary will increase 15% annually. So for the tenure of 5 years, it's going to increase only 15%. That's very static. Okay, these are very static models. It's just designed, it just works that way. Okay, to understand stochastic model, I gave you the example. I gave you an example of stock market, the stochastic model. You can't really determine. Uh, it's not deterministic. It can inflate. The stock price can go up. It can go down. So that is on a very real world situation. Okay. Then comes dynamic models considering a given system. Now, dynamic models are you can say hybrid version of all the models. यहाँ पे बहुत कुछ the inputs are dynamic and the outputs are dynamic as well. Consider a given system through a several temporal stages corresponding to the sequence of decision. Temporal stages means stages with the help of time. Those are the temporal stages. With the time, things change. For example, if I say the water level in a particular lake will decrease or increase with time. Okay, I would say the data of the population, okay, with the time it will increase or decrease. The rate of deforestation will decide the forest whether it will bloom or it will go away. So that is a dynamic model where with the temporal, with the time, temporal means with the time, things will change. So in many instances, the temporal dimension is subdivided into the discrete intervals of time, okay, which could be like the minutes, the hours, the days, the weeks. So it could be a discrete interval of time. For example, I say every minute things are changing, every hour things are changing, or years by year. Okay, discrete time dynamic models largely overcome in business intelligence applications that's are in use. So modeling real world decisions, we apply model technique for 4 stages in the real world decision. Uh, so while we're creating that, somebody is writing the rain or temperature forecast. These are stochastic, rain or temperature forecast. Very much stochastic. You don't know what will happen. So not always relies on time. Like कोई necessarily नहीं है कि they are temporal models, but they are. So we call them as stochastic ones. Okay, modeling the real world decision, we apply modeling technique in 4 stages to a real world decision making. First, study the environment, formulate the model and construct it, analyze the model to determine the results. Third, interpret and validate the model results. Fourth, implement the validating knowledge. So this is a small little explanation for how the models are being made. Then there are structures. Uh, I've already said you the advantages and disadvantages. Okay, so I'll probably stop sharing the screen. Uh, so, any questions so far? I hope I gave you a little example of these models. I didn't go to mathematics at all. Just trying to give you a little example of mathematical models. Terms of type closure. Hope that is clear. All the different types of mathematical models and where they are impacting. Yes, no. Okay. Yes. All right. Hmm. Any questions so far? Board of theory. So am I. Would we learn how the DSS is built or developed? DSS is the question is same, built or developed. So DSS is established in the system. As I said, it is not a single software. It's an environment. So it needs to be implemented. Is expert system different from DSS? Expert systems have a decision support inbuilt to them. It's one of the feature. I have not attended earlier two sections. Anyway, out. I don't know what to say here. Mm, there's no way out. Matlab, I won't be able to repeat somewhere. Maybe there are recorded sessions, so you can always ask for. Mm. Election prediction. What do you think? Stochastic or deterministic? I don't know. You can't determine stochastic. Okay, yes. I believe stochastic. It's very difficult. It could be deterministic if you know that the situation is under your control, being a little more fishy. Uh, Cambridge Analytica. They give you elections outcome. So in experts, we need not to create a DSS because it's inbuilt, right? If it is an expert system, yes, DSS is inbuilt, but not necessary whether the DSS will meet all the requirements we're looking for. Please send the recording for AI. That's not what I can do. I think it's in control of ICAI. I'm just a speaker here. So I'm sorry. You can, ma'am, please contact the authorities. So webinars are not recorded. Even I don't know that. They actually constructed environment to lead and create the desired election result. Yeah. So they have their own set of required. How what they have done, nobody knows. They would be knowing Cambridge Analytica. They give you the outcome. So on basis of lot many inputs and systems. Okay. I hope I am able to draw a line on the DSS. Okay. So maybe that's it for today. We can conclude. Can you share the PPT for yesterday? Yes, we'll share in a while. Maybe, as I already said, uh, it's a little difficult for me, but I'll definitely share something. Don't worry.
Saurabh, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, ma'am. I can.
Yeah. Can we do one thing? We can compile all the PPTs in a one PPT and we can send it to all the participants at the end of the workshop or something kind of.
Possible. That's exactly I wanted to do, but people are asking. So I wanted to compile all in one document, as I said during my first lecture. I love to do that. I'll compile one
Okay.
document and yeah.
Okay. In the meanwhile, you can share your today's PPT also in the group. I have no problem.
Okay, not an issue. Today's I need to work out because it's there's a lot of data which I've used from my own book. So I need to check with my publishing rights whether I can share that or not. But
Okay. Okay. No
definitely
issue.
I'll compile something. I I'll compile a beautiful bundle and give it to people.
Okay. No issues. As per your comfort. No problem.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay. We can close it for today, right?
Yes, we can. We can. We can. Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Yeah. Thank